Yeah, the Sands family, their anniversary concert. You know, there'll never be bad or dull times or unproductive or negative times when you've got the Sands family around you. A man who brings us good tidings, or a modicum of good tidings this morning, Feargal McCormack in our economic slot. And how are you?
Good, Ron, can't complain.
You were mentioning to me that there is the hint of things starting to move again, a little bit of optimism.
Yeah, I think that, although it's important we don't get carried away, but I think that certainly there are some signs that there are small growths coming out there. I think it's fair to say that it'll be a slow pickup, but I mean there are signs that certainly exports and manufacturing sector are starting to grow slightly, and obviously also the unemployment statistics. I mean, the north of Ireland now, Northern Ireland, less than the UK average. Obviously, we're not getting complacent and can't get complacent.
No.
I mean, there are concerning signs as well, in that whilst unemployment is falling, the unemployment rate among the youth and the long-term unemployed is particularly a problem here in Northern Ireland.
We're not doing so, but you know, we in living memory, God, we were so poor in these matters. In Uri, for example, we've come a long way.
Well, I mean, back in the late 80s. Unemployment rates, as you know, here in Newry were rife, and I mean at one stage, certainly in the early 70s, I think male unemployment could have been as high as 20%, 22% in certain areas, and indeed overall unemployment at one stage I think was as high as 18-19%. So we've come a long way, but there's no complacency, and to be fair, I think there's always a recognition that no matter where we are, there's a lot more we can do.
Yeah, and the housing market has bottomed out. I see new sites being purchased by developers, and last week we had the announcement of the local firm getting the contract for the new leisure centre in Newry. That's all good.
Yeah, very good to see Felix O'Hare, a very successful company over many years, getting that contract. And in terms of housing, I was talking to Gary Best yesterday of Best Estate Agents, and he was telling me that without doubt there is certainly a pickup in volume of transactions, a significant pickup. I think the issue there is that the market may have bottomed out a bit and we're moving forward. I think it would be unwise, as confirmed by the PwC report, it'd be unwise to expect a significant uplifting in prices. I think what you're going to see is now normal market conditions, maybe small growth in prices.
But it's interesting, right across the spectrum, because last week you were talking to Gary, I was talking last week to Charlie Digney, the young fellow who runs that end of the business, and he was saying exactly the same, not to lose our heads, but just to keep steady course, and that people are now being more adroit, more fiscally wise. The affordability, not desirability, has become the key word.
Yes, and I also think that one of the key problems of the last 5 years, and we have to accept that no one could have envisaged probably all that happened the last 5-6 years, was the uncertainty. The people didn't know how they were going to sort out with their bank. Some people dealing with NAMA, how it was going to sort itself out. I think as time has passed, solutions are beginning to evolve. I think you're starting to see a little bit more certainty. One can see where the banks are coming from in many instances, and there's a recognition that you don't necessarily have to work for a bank for the next 10 years, but you do have to come to a realistic arrangement with the bank, that there has to be some type of win-win for both parties. And I think that itself is also releasing now land and property onto the market. And I think once that happens and confidence picks up a little bit, you will see things develop. However, I think we're going to see a different economy. Without doubt, it will be the businesses who have learnt over the past 5 years that you can't be totally dependent on the island of Ireland market, that you need to export, that you need to have niches, that you need to have adaptability, that you need flexibility, that you need a skill mix that's willing at all times to learn new skills. And to be fair, maybe it's sad to say, but maybe it took nearly a hard recession to teach many of us,
yeah,
including myself,
yeah,
those hard facts that during periods of great prosperity, complacency can step in, and fat can develop, and maybe a slimmer organisations, fitter organisations, re-engineered organisations can achieve much more going forward.
Interesting that we have coming in today, if we're going out on Thursday, where the day of the examination results again, a minister's representative from Stormont coming in to talk about employment and learning opportunities, and that the whole world has got to be our factory place. We need to be out there and reaching out beyond the shores of Ireland, as you say.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, one of the things, one of our biggest advantages is our natural infrastructure, our tourism, but equally, probably our biggest advantage is our people. And our people don't necessarily need to generate their revenue from here. And with the current digital age, it is very possible for somebody to enjoy the quality of life here and generate their revenue from offshore. And I think that there is no doubt about it. Those are the sectors that are growing. And equally in that context, you're seeing now more businesses not employing big numbers. Some of the most profitable software businesses are actually small companies, but some small companies making potentially a massive difference in the world.
And I see, the billboards cried down to me that First Derivatives, more jobs than Google, and then Teleperformance down in your own building in the Quays, in the mill, they're reaching out and looking to recruit at the moment. Those are the signs of a burgeoning something.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're talking there about two great success stories. I mean, First Derivatives, I see they hosted the Deputy Governor of the Bank of England last week.
Wow.
And First Derivatives are a phenomenal success story, not only for Newry, but for Ireland. And, Brian Conlon and Adrian Toner and the team there have done really great work. And what's really encouraging is, I think if you walk down near First Derivatives early in the morning, if you see those young executives going to work, you could be in London.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really encouraging that people from this area are getting that opportunity so early in life. And then, to be fair, then they get an opportunity to travel. They get an opportunity to see the world. I mean, First Derivatives overseas staff is phenomenal, and a lot of these people are originating from this area.
But it's a young business because the kind of stuff they're into, it's the close-knit world of the microchip and the technology that flows from it into that. And it's a certain kind of brain, a scientific brain. It's a kind of young brain that can handle all of that. And it's wonderful to see those young graduates, just as you say, flowing down there in the morning time, heading in for their day's activity.
Yeah, and I think one has to be realistic that there's a certain stage in life that travelling the world is good. And what you're really hoping is, in addition to First Derivatives, that some of those people at 27 or 28, when they decide perhaps to settle down and maybe come back, that there'll be a knowledge transfer and that they will start up their own incubation businesses and grow complementary to that whole digital sector. And just to touch on a point you made there about young people, I think the encouraging thing about Teleperformance is that it has a number of role models of people who have changed career and are actually totally enjoying the excitement of a new career. I heard a guy last week on the radio talking about, I think he was a bricklayer, and he's found new life, new experience, new enthusiasm through Teleperformance, and and there are other examples of that. And all I'm saying to people is, and I think it's very important we get this message out, that there's no easy ways in life, Ron. No, and anybody you talk to who've been fortunate enough to have a little bit of success, the one consistent thing you'll always find is it's been a road journey. It hasn't been all glossy at all times. And my young son said to me yesterday, the other day I was playing golf with him, he said, I don't know how it came up, but he said, Daddy, winners never quit and quitters never win.
Wow.
And I think there's something in that.
He's been patching into your philosophy there, I think. What's the week ahead hold for you? The remainder of the week?
Obviously business, thankfully within FPM we're very busy at present, but I'd say the business end of the weekend, as you know, I'm chairman of the local Common Petterny for St. Peter's GA Club in Warren Point, and we're celebrating this weekend the 125th anniversary of the club. So we have a big parade on Friday evening when all our current and former players and members
around Warren Point.
Yes, going into the park, and then a family-friendly barbecue, believe it or not, in the club room. So then this really type of an innovative, an old-style a games day, would you say? You know, the games start out going out in McGann on Saturday just for a bit of fun, and then there's entertainment in the marquee
and that's
Saturday and Sunday night.
So we look out for you on Friday night to begin with.
Yeah. Well, this is all about community, and it's about looking back, but more importantly, building the foundations for the future.
Wow, that's where it doesn't get any better than that. Thank you, Feargal, very much indeed. There's a young entrepreneurial woman coming to me shortly in the programme, Claire Connolly from the Elysium on Merchants Quay beside Grounded. Young woman who's into the whole philosophy of alternative medicines, alternative healing processes, lifting her eyes beyond the horizon. A young person who will go far, no doubt.
Well, differentiation's the key to the future, they say.
Isn't it just? You go well. Take care.
Thanks, Rowan. Bye.
Sean, we'll have some music now, please.